How's everybody doing tonight? I got to tell you something before I get started and tell you what all I'm going to talk about tonight. I want to tell you, every day in my business, I go to other businesses and I talk to the business owners, whether it's in Alabama, Ohio, Louisiana, anywhere in the United States that I go. Everyone says there's no hope for tomorrow. The kids coming up today, there's issues, and we don't have hope. And I'm going to tell you something. When I walked in tonight and I looked around and I saw you guys, there's more than hope, brother. There is some real opportunity for every one of you. I will tell you, I'm impressed. It is not what I expected. So I want to take to the side and tell the moms in here tonight, hat off to you. This is awesome. For the young men in here, I want to tell you, you are hope. And we're going to talk about a couple of things tonight. And I'm going to kind of break this into two different deals. If I bore you, start yawning, raise your hand, and I'll know to shut up and go home. But there's a way I want to start, because I'm going to put this into two folds. I'm going to give you a story about a young individual. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll over into an opportunity that we would like to provide for you. An opportunity to give you hope and a career path. All right? So there's this young guy that I want to tell you about. Oh, by the way, it's me. Okay? I grew up in a decent family. My dad was in the military. He was a military officer. But he was always gone on deployment. It was during Vietnam. He did tours in Nam. And then when he came back out, he was always traveling. So where I had a father influence, I didn't have a father around all the time. Me and my mom were extremely close, as I'm sure you are with your mothers. And I grew up through life getting by with the gift of gab. I thought I was smarter than the world. I knew how it was happening. And all of a sudden, I became a senior in high school. Now, through school, I was fortunate enough that I was a wrestler. I went up in Iowa. So up in Iowa, wrestling is as popular as football is in Alabama. So I was sitting up there wrestling through high school, being a really good guy. But when it came to graduation time, I had a third grade reading level. I was so close to illiterate, it's almost scary. To this day at Christmas, I go up into the attic to get our Christmas stuff down, and I've got a footlocker of the things that I wrote. And every Christmas, I drop a tear to think how dumb I was. But I was so dumb, a college gave me a scholarship to go wrestle up there in Illinois. And I went. I'm not proud to say I never graduated, but I'm proud to say that when I left college, they tested me at a 7th grade level. You know what life is when you come out and you can't read? But you know what I learned was attitude and dedication, drive can change everything. After I left, I went back home to Iowa, and life was bad. So I packed my bags and I moved to Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I got in front of Chrysler Financial and had the opportunity to go to work for them. They didn't know how dumb I was. I faked it. But I forced myself and I prayed every night that the good Lord would give me the ability to start to be able to read. I had somebody that kind of mentored me there, and he said, Bill, start reading books. Seriously, start reading books. And I did. And it was almost a miracle that I could start reading. Something happened to me and it worked. So I had a successful career with Chrysler Financial. I went 15 years with them. I was making 6 figures of income. I had 2 company cars, never paid for any gas. I went out to dinner every night, never paid a dime. Great expense account. But they screwed up. They transferred me to Destin, Florida. Anybody been to Destin, Florida? I don't know if there's any more paradise until you get to heaven, man. It's the world, right? So they sent me to Destin, Florida, and I was there for 12 months. At the end of 12 months, I got a promotion to what was an assistant zone manager for Chrysler Financial, which was a big job. I'm excited. I go home and tell my wife, you can't believe it, baby, I got it. I am on the path of success. We are going to be somebody. And I had young kids at the time. So they all got together and told them how proud they were of me. Dad, you are awesome, man. It's great. I was going to New Orleans. So they hugged me and said, what we want you to do is when you get there, make sure you call us and tell you where you're at, because we're not leaving Destin. So I had a choice to make, because I'm smart. I know what I'm doing. I decided to leave Chrysler after 15 years. And I thought I'm going to start my own company, because I'm a smart guy. I had a good savings account. I woke up on a Monday morning after I'd quit Chrysler, and I had to go buy a car because I didn't own a car. And then I found out the gas I've been putting in it wasn't free. I had to pay. And then my wife informed me, it's like, we got kids, we need health insurance. Oh yeah, I forgot about that too. And then I forgot about the entertaining, going out and trying to get clients. And then the worst part, even though it was the car industry and that's where I was built, I didn't know half of what I thought I knew. And I went out in a period of 18 months. I took every dollar I had and I blew it. My monthly income was $400 a month is what I was making. I was spending almost $1,000 a day trying to build a business. At the end of 18 months, I was done. It was over. I was in Floral, Alabama, left a dealer meeting, and I was stopped there, and there's a lake in Floral, Alabama. And I went to that lake, and I sat there, and I cried. For 3 hours, I sat and cried because I had given up everything I had worked for because I was so smart. And all of a sudden, here I am broke. The people I worked for at Chrysler were calling me up saying, Bill, if you don't pay your car note, we're going to repossess it. My wife was crying every night when I went home. They said they're going to foreclose on the house, hon. So I sat at this lake and I thought, you know what I'm going to do? I'm a coward. Never failed in my life. I'm going to check out. I'm going to do the worst sin that you can possibly do, and I'm just going to leave everybody else with my problem. The problem I had was I didn't have any money to go buy something to take care of me, right? I couldn't check out. But I'm at a lake, and I thought, you know what I can do is I can swim out to the middle of that lake, and I can tread water until I'm so tired that I can't make it back, and then on the way back in, I'd drown, and it'd be all over, and it'd be everybody else's problem. And I realized too scared to do that. Either that or there was a passion inside me that said, you got to be better. So I drove home that night, and I sat with my wife and my kids, and I apologized. I said, for the first time in my life, I failed, and it was in a bad way. So I told them tomorrow, I'm going to wake up, and I'm going to go find me a job. And somehow, I'm going to make sure we survive. Next morning, I woke up, got in my car. I'd never really looked for a job except for that Chrysler job. That was 15 years prior to. I got in my car and I started crying. I drove 2 blocks from my house and I stopped. I didn't know where to go get a job. I didn't even know what to do. And I cried. My cell phone rang. I picked up the cell phone and it was a car dealer in Pensacola, Florida. And he said, Bill, we just got out of a manager's meeting and we want to do business with you. Nothing but teeth, baby. I was smiling. I wiped the tears because I had a job. So I drove over to that dealership. I got out of the car proud as all could be. I finally got a foundation of a company that's fixing to start. I got these visions that I'm going to make it all happen. And I'm starting to walk into that dealership. My cell phone rings. I pick it up. And it was a dealership in Crestview, Florida. And they said, Bill, me and my dad just got out of a meeting. We want to do business with you. I wiped my tears, will never come back again. From that day on, my company has grown. And I'm going to tell you something, and I'm not going to tell you this to impress you. I'm going to tell you this to impress upon you that everybody, even a dumb guy, has the potential to do anything they want. From going dead broke, and I've owned this company for 22 years. I now own 3 houses. I own 4 airplanes. I own 6 companies. I have more money in the bank than I know how to spend. My world is good. I could sit back and lay on my laurels and say life is good and I'm going to be okay. But I wake up every morning and I remember that day at the lake. Not one morning do I not wake up and remember that day at the lake, and I am determined to get bigger and better every day. Recently, I've closed the biggest deal in our entire industry. Anyone ever heard of a company called J.D. Power? I own a division of J.D. Power now. I closed that deal and I own it. What we're going to talk about today is the opportunities that each and every one of you have. Everyone has a choice. You too have the opportunities that I had. But the difference is that you have a support cast that's unbelievable. Because it's not just your moms that are embracing you. You guys have taken a commitment to get into the Team Focus program, and those are good people. Those are people that are dedicated to help you out and make sure you're successful in life. We're going to talk about some career paths that we can offer each and every one of you. The things that we're going to try to do, and you guys are going to be the pilot program across the country to find out if we can make it work. There's a lot of hard work that goes in to a success. When I tell you I wake up every morning and I remember that day at the lake and I go to work and I work harder, I challenge anybody, whether it's in here or anywhere else, that can match my work ethic. I work 7 days a week. I'm dedicated to this lifestyle. I wake up every morning at 5:30 and I start working. On Friday nights, I go home and I have my entire family, grandkids and all, and we all go to dinner and I get to kind of catch up. Saturday morning, I wake up and I go to the gym, I come back home and I work till about 11 or 12, and then I give my wife time, I give our family time, and we go out, we do something, we watch a football game, what it is. And then Sunday, I wake up and I work the entire day. Usually get in my office sometime around 7 o'clock. I complete sometimes between 10:30 and 11. I go to bed. I'm up bright and early Monday morning. I'm out to the airport, get on my plane, and I'm off working. Nothing in life is free, guys. Nothing in life is free. You got to work hard. I will tell you this. If tomorrow I wake up and the auto industry is what I know, and it goes totally south, and I go bankrupt, and I lose everything I have, I assure you, in 18 months, I'll be a millionaire. Whether it's with a hot dog stand, whether it's cutting grass, I'll be a millionaire because work ethics cannot be held. You cannot understand what work ethics can bring to you. Nothing in life is free. You have influences every day when you go to school and the people you choose to be around. I'm fortunate right now, I'm reading a book and it's called The Paradox of Choice. And it's amazing. The things that I take for granted, the things that go on in life that I don't even think's going on. And I read this book and it's like, wow. The choices you have to make today are difficult. And the hard thing that the choices that you have to make, you're young. You don't have life experiences. I had a conversation with someone today, they're 24 years old, they're in the car industry, and they're telling me how they need to be someone or above. And I laughed because I sat there and I saw them and me. It's like, that's what I was when I was 24. I was smarter than everybody. But the truth is, life experiences, that's where you grasp where you're headed. You have to make a choice every day. And when you make a bad choice at a young age, sometimes you don't get to recover. Choices. I remember, and I'll tell you another little story because I think stories really embrace what goes on. I lived in Frankfurt, Germany. Were you? My girlfriend. I lied. So I lived in Frankfurt, Germany, and I was a young kid. I think I was 6th grade. And a little cheerleader was my girlfriend. You know, I was a happy man. Her name is Janine Canute. Not that any of you care, but her name was Janine Canute. So Janine went to school that day and told me I wasn't the man of her dreams. Can you believe? Oh, I'm telling you, I bet she regrets that choice now, right? But she told me, I'm not the man of her dreams. I'm going to go down the road. So I got home and I was mad. I was in love. And my mom was teasing me because she really understood what life was about, right? I didn't. And there was a marble egg on the table. And I picked up that egg. And where we lived, there was a plate glass that you looked out into the field. I picked up that egg and I threw it right at that glass. The moment that egg left my fingertips, I would have done anything in my life to get that egg back. I knew at that moment I had screwed up big. It shattered. And when Dad got home, I shattered. It was a bad experience. But I remember that day because the actions we take, you can't ever get back. You make a bad choice today, you may not be able to turn around. You know, I sat there and when I was growing up, I'll admit, I was a rough guy. When you're a wrestler, you did two things. You didn't eat and you fought all the time. And I thought that was a really cool thing to do. And I look back, one swing of a punch could have ended my life. One swing, because I'm a big bad boy. One swing, catch a guy right on the temple, he dies, I'm done. Worse yet, he hits me, I die, I'm done. I got lucky. I got lucky because God had a purpose for me, and I have to fulfill that purpose. I stand in front of you today, a lucky man. I stand because I have the privilege to talk to young guys, the future of the community and our country. I'm not scared what the future holds anymore. I look at you guys and I say there is hope. I encourage you, quit the victim card. We are not victims of anybody but ourselves. We're not victims because life sent me a bad card. We're not victims because you have to be a part of Team Focus. You're not victims because your moms are out there working to try to make your life and you don't live in a mansion and you're not driving a Ferrari and you're not doing all the great things in life. You're not a victim. You're actually blessed. You are blessed because the people sitting next to you right now care for you more than anyone else. The guys that are trying to influence you at school, the guys that are influencing you down the road, the guys that want to be a part of you and make you come down with them, they're not your guys. Misery loves company. It's the fact of life. It's not good. You have to separate yourself. When we talked about choice, you got a choice every day. But no different in the choices that you make, maybe the same choices I made with that egg. I was fortunate my dad forgave me. I don't know if I forgave him, but he forgave me. And you're going to make mistakes in life, and your mom and the people around you are going to love you and forgive you. But one mistake, doing one dumb thing, out of anger, out of influence of a peer, can end your life. It's easy to sit here and everybody talk. It's easy, but you know what? I was that young kid out there one day. And I look back and I know some of the choices I made were the right choices. I had an opportunity because I ran it, when I went to high school in Davenport, Iowa, at Davenport Central High School. It was a tough school. It was a school nobody wanted to go to. But I went to that school. And I went to that school because I was a wrestler and wrestling was really, really good there. So I had all the opportunities you had. There were guns back then. There was knives. There was massive amounts of drugs, masses. I was smart enough never to touch it. I was smart enough to know that one bad choice along those lines would end my life because I'm a compulsive guy. I knew I was dumb as a rock, and if I went to school all high up and messed up, I wouldn't be able to talk my way out of a test. I was smart enough to understand that. The choices you have to make every day are tough. But I got to tell you, lean on the people next to you. Utilize the people in the program of Team Focus. People care about you. So now that we're going to talk about what kind of opportunities am I here to talk to you about, right? See, Team Focus is built a lot around athletes, about sports. And sports drives teamwork, which is important. Sports drive a competitiveness that makes you a winner. But I got bad news for everybody in here. The odds of any of you going to be a professional athlete is probably as close to the odds of me becoming president of the United States. Now, I'm not saying you don't have athletic ability, but the odds. The odds are if you have the talent to get to that point, you still got to get there physically okay. And in today's world and the way the competitiveness is, heck, in high school, kids are ending their careers. The odds of being a professional athlete, they're slim, guys. So what's our next career path? College? Not all of you are going to go to college. Not everybody's made for college. Do I encourage it and you have that opportunity? By all means. If you've got the skill set to go in there and go to college, go to it. It's a great foundation to show that you can get through life in a different way. It gives you a foundation of discipline and what you have to do to succeed. Unless you become a doctor, maybe a lawyer, or an accountant, or an engineer, the odds of you learning something in school that you're going to go take out into the real world and make millions ain't going to happen, guys. It's not going to happen. But what will teach you is fulfillment of the responsibility of being able to grab something and go through. But you know what? You may not be college bound. You may not have the luxury of being able to go to college because of the financial burdens upon you. Maybe those are the case. I want to tell you that the opportunities out there today are unlimited. I go to car dealerships every day. That's my foundation. And there's a lack of talent. There's a lack of work ethic. There's a lack of young people understanding the career path you can make inside the car business. And I'm going to use the car business as an example because that's what I know. You know what people make in the car business? 6 figures. If you're good and you get to be able to advance and get an opportunity to own a store, all of those great things that come, it becomes 7, 8, and 9 figures. I'm not saying that we're putting a dollar figure on where you want to be financially. But I always remember, as dumb as I was, when I first got to college, they put me in an econ class, economics. Okay? That's a scary thought, as dumb as I was, right? But the first day of class, the teacher stood in front of the class and said, it's going to be boring, it's going to be tough. But there's one piece of advice I'm going to give you. That if you're going to be anything in life, be rich. Because the rich live good. And her story goes to say that you got to have a drive. It doesn't come for free. Go out and capture it. I've been the poor guy. And woe is me the whole time. I've been fortunate enough to make money. And it is better. Doesn't change your world, but it is better. I tell people in the work world every day, you think your life is bad at home right now? Keep doing what you're doing at work. Let me fire you, and then you go home and find out how bad life is. You got to have a foundation. And if you're going to work, why not make all you can make? Why not? So what we want to do today is offer you what we're calling Career Path Network. It's something that Team Focus and I have talked about for a while. We've gone out to some people that we do business with. What we're going to do is pilot it. We're going to take some of you and allow you to put yourself into the program. And what it's going to be is we're going to take you as a senior in high school, and what we're going to do is allow you to work inside car dealerships in different fields. Those of you that have aptitudes to become mechanical, we're willing to train you to be a technician. And I will tell you, don't underestimate what a technician's about today. People think you pull up a hood and you're some kind of grease guy under there cranking a wrench. That's not how it is. These guys are educated people. Car dealerships spend hundreds of thousands of dollars training their technicians. It is a skill that you can go anywhere in America anywhere you want to go, and someone will hire you, and you'll make all the money. We're willing to invest if the aptitude's right, if the attitude's right, and the desire's there to help you with that career path. It may be a career path you didn't even know you wanted. I can assure you, when I was going through school, someone told me I was going to be in a car business, I'd say, huh? I ended up in a field that most people don't even understand. It was so bad of trying to teach people what I do for a living that my kids, all through school and high school, I'd show up at their games, basketball, cheerleading, whatever it was, and everybody would go up to them and say, man, what does your dad do, man? Comes in there with them suits on, he's got it all going on, he's confident, he's walking like he's somebody. What does he do? And after about 6 times of trying to explain it, they said, oh, hell, he's in the mafia. Because they couldn't explain what I did, but they said, whatever it is, man, you carry yourself. We want to give you those opportunities. There's other things inside the car business. There's parts. Professional people that deal with parts. There's salespeople, product specialists. There are opportunities that open up all sorts of doors. I encourage each of you to think about some of the things that we're going to talk about, the career paths. If we could take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and make this program successful, the people coming behind you are going to have opportunities. The community, the business people in this community are going to come out of the woodwork trying to train you. They'll want to be a part of taking you and giving you a path. I know this for a fact. You graduate from high school, you're not going to go to college, you're not a pro athlete, you're going to come out and become a LeBron James and go to the pros out of high school and make $40 billion your first year, right? What's your hope? What's your hope? Do you know what people like me, responsibility, people like Mike, it's our responsibility to give you hope, to give you an opportunity that there is something else out there. It's not free, guys. To be in this program, you're going to dedicate yourself because the community, the people in these businesses are going to invest a lot of money on you. I'm personally going to invest money on you. So when you get into the program, you're going to have to want to. And it's all about attitude. Attitude saves everything. The right attitude can change worlds. If you have the desire, if you have the want, and you have the attitude, I have a path. As we work through this program, we need success. If you're not willing to provide the dedication it's going to take for someone to invest financially in you, because there's a gamble in it. No one's going to get their money back. There's a gamble. If you're willing to go through the processes that we're going to talk about to get you into a program like this, we're willing to invest. So what we're going to do is I'm going to encourage each of the moms. Here's a breakdown of the program. It tells you what our goals are, our beliefs, our recommendations, how to enroll, why, and what industries are going to participate. I will tell you that this program right now is going to be watched by the mayor. Hopefully, knock on wood, the future governor has talked to us. They want to watch this program. We want to launch this program in every city that Team Focus exists in because we need to give you hope. If you come out of high school and your only hope is to run with a bunch of thug punks who are going to drag you down or work at McDonald's, that's a tough choice. I get that. We want to give you hope. We want to give you direction. You're not going to like it every day because there's evaluations that are going to be. You're going to be held accountable. You're going to show up to work on time. People are going to make sure that you're trained. We're going to get you right. And when you graduate from high school, while everyone else tries to figure out what they're going to do in life, at their graduation party, they're like, oh, heck, now what am I going to do? You're going to say, I got to go to work Monday morning. Because you're going to have somewhere to go with pride. Become so good as a technician, you open your own shop. And then you become so good, you become the old Amco transmission nationwide. The dream is only as small as you make it or as big as you desire it. The opportunity is yours. The first step into making this work is we're going to require you to do a personality profile. Okay? We're going to encourage you to take each of these. This is the trigger telling us that you're interested. This is the trigger that says, I want to be a part of the program. We're going to take the personality profiles. We're going to determine who you are internally. And I'm going to tell you, you're not going to beat it. I've tried. It's a DISC profile, and not to get involved in what the DISC is, it's a DISC. Each of them have a different personality. I've taken this test no short of 600 times, and as many times as I've tried to beat it so I can become an I, an S, or a C, I'm a D. I'm dominant. Nothing I can do. It works, and it works for real. We'll teach you what your personalities are. We'll tell you where you best fit. Then once we do that, we're going to give you an aptitude test. And if the aptitude says you're a gift of gab, if the aptitude says you're mechanically inclined, if the aptitude says that you're particular, that you're very much inside of detail, we'll know where to go. And we'll introduce you to you. And if it's a path you want to take, we want to take you down that path. Guys, life is tough. And to sit back and think that life's going to be fair, it's not. You're going to be dealt bad cards every day. It's how you react to those bad cards to determine where you end up. I could have laid down and swam out in that lake that day. And I didn't. I go to dinner on those Friday nights, and we spend and eat well. And the servers come up to the table and it's like, man, Bill, man, I want to be you. And I always laugh and say the same thing. No, you want to be me during the 3 hours at dinner. You don't want to be me 7 days a week. When we sit and we look at these prime time athletes, man, look how good they are. I'm not saying they don't have God-given talent to do what they do. But you got to understand what it takes to do what they do. They're in the gym. They're working out. Nothing in life is free. If you want to sit back and say, woe is me, and hope someone takes care of you, it's not going to happen. You'll never get ahead in life. You'll never be the leader that you need to be. As unfortunate as sometimes you may feel, you are so much in an opportunity. The people sitting next to you or across from you, they love you. They love you. That's 50% of the battle. You take the time to come in here to Team Focus, to be a part of an organization to help embrace you. These guys love you. And they genuinely love you. When I talk to Frankie, I talk to Mike, I've talked to people involved in these programs. They really do love you guys. They want nothing but the best. They want you to have the opportunities that maybe you didn't think you had. They want to challenge the people that want to bring you down. And there are plenty of them out there. Do you guys know how to build the largest building in town? And when I say the largest building, I use that in context to make you the biggest and smartest. Do you know how you become the biggest and smartest? Have the biggest building. Do you know how you do that? Because there's only two ways to do it. Anyone got an idea? Nobody got an idea? Tell me. You got to build it yourself if you want the highest building, or you got an alternative. You tear everybody else's down. What kind of man are you? Are you willing to build the biggest building? Or are you going to spend all your time tearing everyone else's down so you look like the big guy? Because I can tell you the bad influences that are around you today, because they're everywhere, they're tearing the building down. Your building. They're tearing it down because they don't have the guts, the drive, and the want to go build their own. It's so much easier to bring you down. That way they look good. It is tough to walk away from that kind of situation. But you know what? If you want something in life, you got to work for it. You got to give up, woe is me. You got to dedicate yourself and you got to go after it. I had a 3rd grade reading level out of high school. And I've been successful. The stories that you hear about people successful all takes hard work. There are hard choices that you have to make. You know what? Early in your career, you may not be able to buy a $600,000 house. You may not be able to buy your mom that new Mercedes she wants. But I got to tell you something. You put your nose to the grindstone, you put the blinders on, and you work for that center goal, and you let all the outside influences go away, that goal is yours. If I can make it, you can make it. I guarantee you there's not a person in here that's dumber than I was the day I graduated from high school. Not a one of you. I didn't get lucky. Luck is a residue of design. What I got was instilled a work ethic that exceeds everyone else. I worked harder than anyone else. I drove the talents that God gave me, my ability to communicate, and I built my career on it. If your aptitude says that you're a mechanically inclined individual, don't turn your back on it. Go that path. Opportunities are everywhere. We want to help to drive that attitude, that path for you. We want to be the influence in your life that gives you a purpose for the future. Here's what's going to happen tonight. You guys are going to get in the car and you're going to go home. Moms will probably say, "What'd you think about that guy up there talking?" And you're going to say one of two things. "Lucky dude, man, he going to go home and have all the money." You're going to say, "That ain't true. Ain't nobody that dumb that pulled off what he pulled off." Or are you going to say, "You know what? I can follow those footsteps. I can work harder than that guy. I can sacrifice and I can make it happen. And Mom, my goal for you is that Mercedes. I want to make sure I take care of you." You don't have to play for the Cavaliers. You don't have to play for the Saints. What you have to do is dedicate yourself and have a purpose in life. We want to give you that purpose. If you're that guy, make sure you take one of these. Now, I will tell you, if you're having a difficult time in reading, you might have to have Mom sit down and help you do this. Because some of the words, you have to understand what the definitions of them are. So spend your time. Spend your time and fill this out. This is your trigger. This one piece of paper could be your trigger on where you end up in 20 years. Before I die, one of you in this room are going to be massively successful. One of you. You have to put it together. I want to tell you guys how much I appreciate you allowing me to come in and talk to you. I can assure you this, the privilege to be able to stand in front of you young men is all mine. It's my privilege to be able to speak with you. I want you to know I tried not to impress anybody, just to press upon you that it's you. The opportunity is yours. You're fortunate enough to have people around you that love you. You're fortunate enough to be in an organization that are looking for ways to give you hope. When you wake up tomorrow morning and you go off to school, look respectable. People notice dress. Most people don't know what I make and what I do. But it doesn't matter what restaurant I walk into. It doesn't matter what department store I walk into. It doesn't matter if I walk into a car dealership to go sell and be a client, to try to get them to be my client. The instant respect that people look at me because of appearance and the way I carry myself is the same thing that your teachers, your counselors, and the people around you are going to see you tomorrow. I don't know how you go to school. When I look around and look at each of you tonight, I'm impressed. You are the hope. I believe that. But tomorrow morning, I'd be encouraged if each of you wake up and decide to do one thing tomorrow to help move your career in the right direction. Do one thing tomorrow to build your building bigger than everyone else.